Pete, IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting. I'm here with my partner, co-producer, Chris. Introduce yourself.
Hey, just by the way, you were cut off in the beginning there, so you might want to...
Oh, was I?
Hey, everybody,
So
that's New York Pete. I'm the Tipsy Toaster. This is Interfleet Broadcasting, broadcasting from a satellite office tonight. So, and Pete is on his home base star, or battle star. I got it right.
You're in a little Cylon Raider, but welcome everybody to IFB. It's our sci-fi pop culture news and commentary broadcast, and hopefully you guys are going to all join us up, and I'd like to see some chats up. I know Lola's here live with us, and thank you everybody for watching. They're gonna watch this in rerun. You get a lot of viewership afterwards, Chris. But thanks for joining us live, everybody. And we in the wings we have our TV critic. So Tiny Bean Tara is going to be on, and she's going to tell us about a whole bunch of stuff. But in the meantime, we have our toasts that we do. Chris, did you?
Something.
Do you have your?
What was it?
Nope.
Yep.
Well,
but wherever I go, I always have things for the Raider.
Yes.
So
yes.
Tonight, I actually switched it over to Pete, so you can show the beer while I look at it.
And this is a free spot for them. We're not getting sponsorship or anything from them. We're just enjoying some vanilla porter. Tell us about it, Chris. Chris usually
let's see.
reads
It's 5.4% alcohol by volume.
Okay.
It's by Breckenridge Brewery. Breckenridge Brewery, LLC. Littleton, Colorado. And Fort Collins, Colorado.
Okay.
Cool. It says toasted malts with notes of vanilla.
Notes.
That's
Does it sing?
ale brewed with real vanilla beans and with natural flavor.
Cool.
Best of enjoy by 25 January 2022. So we're good.
Okay.
Unlike a skunky beer that you had before.
No, you made me drink a Vulcan ale that was almost 10 years old.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I made you eat the 40-year-old gum from an original Battlestar Galactica trading card set. Oh,
look at this.
Look at this. All right.
Focus. There it goes.
There it is.
Oh.
That's it.
My
Next
son
generation.
got me this one for Christmas about 2 years ago. The saucer separates. And underneath the saucer is my bottle opener.
You're showing off.
So,
You're just
ready?
a show off, man. All right, let's do it. Let us do it. And ready? Hold on. Ready? Okay, go. Okay. All right. Oh,
the Enterprise has successfully attacked the bottle.
Ready? Let's pour.
Ooh.
Smells good.
Yep. Ready?
Yeah. Oh, this is
foamy.
nice. It's foamy, but it smells really good. Wow.
Yes.
Oof. Okay. All right. So Michael Rector, Chris Laskowski from Australia, Karen Mercurella, and Grimskull. Okay.
Hey, Grim.
Mediocre Modeler. And thanks for joining us live, guys. And we're getting ready to toast. And so before we do that, here in the States, today happens to be Veterans Day.
Yes.
So, right, to all the colonials and Earth vets that have served, including the Tipsy Toaster and myself. However, a couple of extra shout-outs. John One, Razor Ramon, Carl, Tony Bassi, the author that we interviewed at AwesomeCon, Laurel McHugh.
Yep.
Right? So
I just put her video up yesterday.
McCog, I think it is. But yes. So, happy Veterans Day to all the vets.
And Baz. Baz is military.
Oh, and Baz, that's right. And Baz, that's right. Thank you for Baz. Hey, we got to include him as well. And to all the other vets, we don't know, I'm sure there's many more. Yeah, I'm sure there's many more. But to all the colonial warriors that have served and are no longer with us, as well as all the other veterans that have served in all the armed forces to keep the world safe from the bad guys. This is to all of you and Chris.
Yep, this is for all of you. And we know fans fuel the fleet, and veterans, thank you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
That is good.
Yeah.
It's not too overpowering vanilla-wise. It's almost a little bit like it is a porter, so that's what I was about to say. It's a little bit like a stout, but not quite. So porter it is.
Definitely. Very good. I like it. I like it very much.
It's not as chewy as a stout, but
it's pretty good.
That's really good.
I like it very much. So thanks for this, Chris. I appreciate it. This is courtesy of Tipsy Toaster. So thank you for this drink. And Let's see who else we have on here. Yeah, Lola says a special thanks to our military. Absolutely, thank you for your service, guys. Grimskull, U.S. Air Force here. So
Yeah.
there's to you too, Grimskull. Thanks for serving. And
Get
yeah,
a chance to
my
check
dad
out his
retired.
channel.
Hey, Mediocre Modeler says dad retired 25 years from U.S. Air Force as well. So you were an Air Force brat. Outstanding, outstanding. Yeah, it was a pleasure to serve. So, what is this? I see someone mentioning something. What is that? Now I gotta run out and get beer. Yeah, Grimskull, come on, man, go get a beer, bro. Um, I saw I was stumbling. I was just today. I was looking through some videos, and I was on YouTube, and I saw a mediocre modeler YouTube video. That it's an early one. He was making the Colonial helmet and the Viper helmet, and he couldn't actually he wanted to actually put up the launch when ready segment, and instead he created his own,
Oh
and
yeah, that's right. I remember that. That was good.
oh my god, it was so funny. I almost lost it. It was awesome.
Yep.
We have to pull that up one day, Chris, because
Oh
that was
yeah.
awesome. So that was really cool. So thanks for joining us, Mediocre Modeler. Appreciate it. And so I don't know, Chris. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about,
Yes.
and we've actually been working hard on getting our next set of guests. So let's talk about that when we come back. In the
Okay.
meantime, we have Tiny Bean Tara that's with us. So why don't we bring her on and we'll talk about some of the things that are going on as we speak in the world of TV and some movies and stuff, and especially on streaming. So Tiny Bean Tara, welcome.
Hi guys, great
Hey
to be
there.
back. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. Thank you so much, you guys, for your service. Thank you for everyone who's served. It is great to be here as always. It has been such a busy couple of weeks in Tiny Bean's Corner. Is it me or is like so much stuff happening at once? There's a new trailer out for Ghostbusters Afterlife, so check that out. There's a new teaser trailer out for Stranger Things 4. Check that out. Wheel of Time starts next week, guys. Don't forget. I'll send you a reminder. Um, there's also now a confirmed season 2 of Squid Game coming. Lost in Space is coming back with season 3, the final season. There are some crazy holdups going on over at Paramount Studio. There's just tons of stuff going on right now. Now, I promise you, I will drop all of the links to all of this stuff in the blog in the next couple of days. So please be sure to check that out. But tonight, I wanted to take some time paying tribute to an actor from the Battlestar fandom world who passed this week at the age of 85. I'm talking about Dean Stockwell. Dean had a career that spanned over 70 years in Hollywood and Broadway. In fact, his father and mother were famous Broadway stars. His dad also happened to be the voice of the prince in Disney's Snow White. Now, I remember Dean when I was a kid. He was the cute little boy in Gene Kelly and Frank Sinatra's film Anchors Away. And I loved that movie when I was a kid. And I didn't know till years later that that was a little Dean Stockwell. Oh my goodness. Now, through the years, he worked with just about everyone. And if you look up his IMDb list, it just goes on and on and on and on. And it is amazing. And having been a child actor, he had a reputation as always being the one on the set who looked out for the kids. And I just think that's beautiful. He was nominated for the Oscar for Married to the Mob in 1988, but it was soon after that he made an even bigger splash on TV when he took the co-starring role of Al in Donald P. Belisario's Quantum Leap. Now, who doesn't like Quantum Leap, right? That was such a fun show. It has a huge fandom, a huge following all its own. It even has its own comic book series, which, Pete, please remind me to look those up.
I didn't know
Oh, for
that.
Quantum
sure.
Leap ran for 5 years, and it featured Scott Bakula as Sam Beckett. Now, Sam Beckett was a scientist, and he was involved in a time travel experiment that goes wrong, and it causes him to leap into the bodies of other people, or maybe even a chimpanzee. It happens.
Or
And he
female.
has to help, right? And yes, he I think 2 or 3 times he was a woman. I mean, it was always something crazy and interesting, but I digress. I mean, the whole point of it was that he had to help sort out whatever problems these people had before making the next leap, and always hoping that that leap would bring him home. Now, Dean played his wisecracking, cigar smoking friend Al, who would appear as a hologram to help him. And I read a really funny story that he suggested in one of the first read throughs that, Al smoke a cigar. And they were like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And somebody said, why did you do that? And he goes, well, it's a great way to get free cigars. Right? I mean, so that was his personality. I mean, you gotta love that. Now, Quantum Leap is, as I said, it is so much fun. It's good, and it was way ahead of its time in a lot of ways. And funny enough, just a couple of months ago, Scott Bakula in an interview said that there was talk of a possible reboot coming. So stay tuned on that. I've had that on a list. We'll be checking out and sniffing around for more info, and now I imagine the impetus is probably raised a bit, so it may happen sooner than we think. Scott also spoke very lovingly this week about his time working with Dean, and it seemed he was colorful, fun, and incredibly beloved by all of his coworkers. His work on Quantum Leap also put him with Belisario, who then had him cast in the 2005 Battlestar Galactica series, and a few years later he was even in JAG. He also appeared in the original Dune back in 1984 for David Lynch, and he was also in Blue Velvet for David Lynch. So, yeah. He also was in Stargate SG-1 and in an episode of Star Trek Enterprise that reunited him with Scott Bakula. So,
yes, I remember that.
I would just, right? Wasn't that something?
Yep.
But anyway,
absolutely.
I just wanted to talk about that tonight and honor him and say, Godspeed, good sir. You gave us a lot of fine memories and you will be missed. Now, I'd like to wrap up with a recap review of the latest Tom Hanks sci-fi film that we previewed a few weeks back. So if you remember, we talked about it. It's called Finch. Finch is about a roboticist living in a post-apocalyptic future. Say that whole thing like 3 or 4 times fast. But anyway, he's living in this post-apocalyptic future where most of the other people are gone. He is alone, but for his robot creations and his beloved dog. So, yeah, you guys know me by now. They had me at the dog, but I digress. Okay. So Finch is dying, and his plan is to create a robot who has one overriding reason for existing: to take care of the dog when he's gone.
Oh, wow.
Right? So this movie is extraordinary on many levels. It is a tearjerker, fair warning, but it is also one of the most positive and heartwarming films about life, about what it means to be human, what it means to be a family, to relish the little things, to exist and go on even in the bleakest of circumstances. Hanks in this is at his best, as always. I am in awe of the work the man can do as an actor, working pretty much alone. I mean, it's him, a dog, and a voiceover for a robot. And now we know he proved he could do this in Castaway, of course, but here it's a much similar situation, but he's also older, and I think he's gotten better even as an actor. This is much more nuanced. You can feel the urgency in his character and why he's doing this, and he's running out of time and he needs this to work before he goes. I think it's really something. I mean, and as always with Hank, is his eyes tell half the story. That's really all you need. But it's not just his story. We're also following the birth, if you will, of a new being in the guise of Finch's new robot creation. And you get to see how this baby, infant kind mentality robot has to learn and discover life and the world around him for the first time. Now, I've also read that the showrunners went to great pains to get as much of the science right in the creation and building of this robot, and that's really fascinating. If I can find some of those articles, I'll link them in the blog, because it's really cool to read. For the people who are more technical than I am, I think would really appreciate that. The robot, who later chooses his own name, and I won't give away what the name he chooses is. It's voiced by
R2D2.
Caleb. No,
C3PO.
it's a really good name. I like this name. You'll see why, Pete. Anyway.
Cylon.
Cool. No.
No.
That's how Cylons are created.
That sounds great.
That's
But
it.
the actor who plays the voice of the robot is Caleb Landry Jones. He gives a beautiful performance. He imbues this character with so many layers of endearing personality just through his voice, and that is really, really spectacular. The dog, Goodyear, is a rescue named Seamus in real life. Another name
wow.
that I love. We had a dog named Seamus in my family years ago. The dog is so good. Watch the dog. Watch how his eyes
It's like
follow
Benji?
Tom Hanks. Yes. Yes.
Like,
you
remember
look at him,
Benji?
he's
I remember
beautiful.
watching
yeah.
all the Benji
He has a
shows.
Benji face,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I used to watch all the
I-
Benji shows.
Oh, I love Benji. I have one of my dogs today, Gatsby. It looks a lot like Benji, so I always would tell people like that. Remember Benji? That's Gatsby.
Yeah. A lot of our
But
followers will remember Benji, but I'm afraid if I said something to one of the kids, no.
Nope.
yeah,
No.
I know. It's like, what? Benji? I mentioned Lassie the other day, and people looked at me like they didn't like what? And anyway, that's sad, but I digress.
It is.
So yeah, definitely to check that out. Watch everything. But watch this dog. Watch how cute he is, and how he just watches with his eyes just follow Tom Hanks all over, and it is really, really precious.
That's because Tom Hanks has kibble in his pocket.
He's gotta, right?
That's how this works. Kibble in the pocket.
I was like, wait a minute.
I will follow him
No.
anywhere. I'll watch.
I would follow you for kibble. So,
Overland
guys,
Overland Geeks popped in. Just
Yeah,
wanted
he's
to say
awesome.
hi.
If you get a chance,
and we have, of
check
course,
his channel out, and he's on Ko-fi, Kofi. He's doing. I digress. Sorry. He's doing a minimalization and streaming. So he's streaming from campsites.
Oh yes,
Jeez.
that's right. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
he
fun.
jumped
That's
on.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Sean Shallow, Battlestar Bulletin Board admin and founder. He's with us, and of course, the well-known Paul Roeder needs no introduction in the Battlestar Galactica community.
Paul,
Welcome, guys.
Paul should be all over this tonight because it's Commander
yeah.
Kane.
It sure is. So, Paul, welcome. Paul, of course, admin and founder of Colonial Warriors, amongst many different groups that he's an admin in. So, thanks for joining us, Paul. Appreciate it. Tara, please continue.
Sorry.
Yeah,
rudely
I
interrupted
really just wanted to just wrap up what I was talking about with Finch. It's available on Apple TV Plus. It's another reason to check out that streaming service. I like these services because generally you can join for a month, watch whatever they have, and if you don't like it, you can boot it and then join it back when you need to. But anyway, please check this out. Give it a shot. It's also been their most successful film debut to date since they started, and I am not surprised. This movie is it's highly recommended in my book, so check it
got
out
Tom
and let me
Hanks.
know what you think. It's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
He is every man.
He doesn't do really any bad movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
And
It's true.
he's a really nice guy in person as well. So I've gotten to meet him while he was traveling in between catching flights. I got a moment of his time, and really nice guy. Really, really nice guy. Yeah.
Oh, Pete, that's wonderful. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did he have
I got
Wilson
a head
with him?
about a 5 minute. No, 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 no. This was before Wilson. This was before
Actually, Wilson was being sold on the prop auction.
Yes,
I forget how much they were asking for it, but it was
a lot of money.
It was in the
and they were selling
multiple
Battlestar
tens of thousands
Galactica
of dollars. Yeah.
props and costumes and just astronomical stuff. But it is what it is.
A little beyond my price range. Yeah. A full
Tara,
Cylon suit was $25,000, and someone bought it.
What is that? That doesn't include all the extra fees. There's broker
I think it was
fees
in England too.
Yeah, shipping and everything is a lot of money. Tara, what do you think of the Wheel of Time? Do you think that's going to? What's your take on that?
I have really, really high hopes for this. I've been following pretty closely the what they're doing, working on it. They've dug really deep into the books. So, and as always, as we've talked about before, when you're dealing with source material like this that has such a beloved fan base, you're treading this fine line between the people that are diehard fans and know the material really well and want to see that, and then the new people that you want to attract and get into it. So it's always a challenge. I have really high hopes for this. I like the cast. Rosamund Pike, I think, is fantastic. So I'm hoping it looks good. Check it out next week, guys. That one is Netflix, right?
Is it Netflix?
It is Netflix, right?
I think so.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
I have Netflix. I can watch that one.
There's a bunch of things coming up. I believe next week is going to be the Pike series with Anson Mount. I think it's opening next week. So
What?
Is that next week already? I didn't realize.
I believe it is. I believe it is. So
Nice.
that's looking good. There's a bunch of stuff coming out. So a lot of good sci-fi.
Sci-fi's
they
back.
dropped. Sci-fi's back. It's back, and there was we posted something today that Spartan Red Productions found us. There's a delay. There's going to be a delay in a couple of shows. There's some I don't know, probably COVID related issues that are hampering things. But so I don't know. We'll see. We just stay tuned. Did you see the Bond movie, Tara? Did you see the last Bond?
I have not seen it yet, but I have heard a lot about it, and I know my mom, who is a huge Bond fan. Hi, Mom. Mom told me a lot about it, and if Mom approves of Daniel Craig after all these years, even though he's not Sean Connery, then I am there. I'm in.
So wait a second. So she saw it, and what was the feedback? She enjoyed it. Oh, she did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's two things that I heard. One, it's very long, almost too long, and there's some kind of twist at the end. So
you don't.
I haven't seen it.
Can't.
Right. So
Yeah.
your mom says it's good.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
We have
And
the
that carries a lot of
Tara
weight.
mom stamp of approval.
Tara's mom gives a stamp of approval on this. You know it's good. And yes, and then we discussed in depth afterwards, and then we went back and rewatched some of the other Daniel Craig ones, which I particularly loved. Skyfall. Skyfall was my favorite.
That's probably my
was
favorite.
good. Yep.
Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, I just loved that. That was such a good one. Yeah, so I'm dying to see it. I haven't really been in a movie theater in so long. I've just been
it's been a while.
Watching things online. So I was like, what do you mean I can't watch Bond on my TV?
Paul says, I'm ready for Afterlife. And Sean says Rogue Squadron's delayed. And Hollywood Reporter that we posted says Star Trek and Transformers movies pushed back at Paramount. So that was that we posted that.
Yes. Yeah, there's some big stuff going on over there. And I'm sure there's a lot of COVID complications involved with all of this stuff. I mean, it costs a lot of money to put these things together, and it's really hard to keep, a film set going and keep everybody safe. It's a whole new world, guys.
It is. It really is, Tara. So,
Yeah.
what's next? Can you give us a little bit of a preview on what it is that you're going to be working on? What are you watching from now till next time we see you?
I am just really banking everything on Wheel of Time. Like looking like
Oh,
that is the big
oh,
star on my calendar. Wheel of
okay.
Time. It's next week. I can't wait. So really looking forward to that. And there's so much stuff on deck that I've been looking at. Like I talked about earlier, of the Stranger Things 4 dropped a new
Yeah,
teaser. Ghostbusters Afterlife just dropped a new teaser. So there's lots of stuff coming around. I'm also really, really holding out hope for the new Matrix film coming out at Christmas. I know
that's right.
it's a ways
Yes.
away, but that one has, I got some really high hopes for that.
Yeah.
And John Wick.
Yes!
There's
I'm a
another
big
one.
John Wick fan, so I hope they don't
How
let
many
us down with that.
dogs does
So,
John Wick have?
yeah, he doesn't need them. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the dog, man. Don't get
How many
sidelined with
dogs
the
does he
daggers.
have? I mean, doesn't he kill off a dog every episode or something?
No,
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 don't
no.
say
You need
that.
to watch. You're not watching the right thing. It's pretty cool.
Oh, Pete, I did just finish watching, and I know, Chris, I know you're not a Stephen King fan, but I just finished watching Chapelwaite on
Oh,
Epix
and
with
how was
Adrian
that?
Brody. I loved it, and I
Really?
can tell you, it's not for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah, it is
okay.
dark, dark on top of dark on top of dark. But it
Oh
is
So
boy.
you're trying to
beautiful.
say it's like dark?
No, it's sunshine and roses. And no, but
Oh
Join
boy.
just
hands,
a
sing
little like
kumbaya.
backstory on it. It's based on Stephen King's short story Jerusalem Lot, which was one of his first stories from like way, way, way back. That
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
became Salem's Lot, and then
I was going to say
Yes.
Salem's
this
Lot.
is like the precursor to that. It's like the 1800s in Jerusalem's Lot and how that land became cursed, if you will, or how the whole vampire thing started. And
Oh
it's
boy.
really good. Pete, I think you would like it. I'd really be
Okay.
interested if you checked it out. Let me know what you think.
Sure.
I really liked the ending, and it also made me want to
Okay.
go back and reread Jerusalem. I haven't read the short story in God knows how many years. So I don't remember like
Yeah.
how much did they invent, how much did they add to it.
Oh wow.
Stephen King's
Okay.
short stories are very dense. I mean, look at Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank
Oh
Redemption
yeah.
was a short story.
Oh yeah.
you
His
know,
some
It
of that
wasn't a short
his
movie.
the
right, right.
anthologies, no, but his books are some of those short stories that he did were phenomenal. It reminds me
Hmm.
of Philip K. Dick. A lot of his
Yes.
stuff were not, they some of it was short stories, some of them were like small novels,
Yep.
and they just became full blown, like look at Blade Runner and some of the other things that have been out there, like Man in the High Castle. I mean, that was like a whole series, right? Which is
Yep.
really
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. Um, Mediocre
Awesome.
Modeler just said the third Thrawn audiobook drops this month. That
What?
sounds very interesting. And I think we need to reach out to and see what we can do about that whole Thrawn, because that series is really really important in the whole Star Wars world.
Yeah.
So Timothy
Really?
Zahn, we'll see if we can, maybe, who knows, maybe we can get him on. John one, great show, really enjoyed Chapel White. Okay, cool. So there's
Yay.
John
Thanks,
giving
John.
giving a thumbs up. And they are also remaking Salem's Lot now. Ooh,
Awesome.
whoa, that's
Awesome.
interesting. All right,
Oh,
cool.
that's going on the list.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Maybe
We're gonna have a
they're
yeah.
busy Christmas.
commingling it with the Sanderson sisters.
Oh, yeah. Get out of here. Taking advantage of
Because
the fact
they're
that we're just
redoing that
distracted
one.
for a second. It's all about Cylons. How about that?
That's it.
Yeah. And of course, Pete, and I know I keep mentioning it every other time I'm on, but I'm waiting, waiting, waiting for the Sandman to drop on
Oh
Netflix. They
yeah.
haven't given a date yet, and I'm waiting, as you can see from behind me. There's my little Sandman poster. Got that at Comic-Con years ago. So
Nice.
That's just creepy.
Nice. Yeah, that's
it is.
awesome. That's cool. All right, well,
Thanks.
so look, we're gonna catch up. We'll see what else is floating out there, and we'll watch some more shows, and hopefully, everybody else will chime in. And John McCartney, here's an idea. Let's try an IFB special viewing, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, where we collectively watch Galactica 1980 and start with Conquest of Earth. I'm game.
If we could get
I'm
away
in.
with it,
I'm totally
we'd have to
game.
do it on Zoom.
Which we can, because we have a
Couldn't do it.
professional
We couldn't
account.
do it here. They'll take us
That's
right off the
really
air.
Cool.
Oh,
We
by
can
the
do
way,
special night.
for the first time, all right. So somebody sent us stars.
Yes, a whole bunch of guys sent us stars. Thank you for stars.
I don't
Appreciate
even know how that works.
But yeah,
Thank
Sean
you.
says let's do it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
we
a
can do
great
it.
idea. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sean, let's get together and see how we can work this out.
We
I
do it
think
over
it's a-
Christmas.
I think Christmas break
There
we do
you go.
We could do
Yeah.
it one Christmas
We have,
night, Christmas Eve, day before Christmas
Yeah.
Eve or something. And
Yeah,
Oh,
John
that
Van
would be
Gosten
so
just
much
sent
fun.
200 stars. Thanks, guys. I think there's a few
This
others
is
that
the
have
first-
sent stars too.
yeah, we
So,
just started. We
Paul,
just qualified for the star thing, so I don't even.
yeah, Mediocre
know how that
Modeler
works.
sent us stars. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the stars. Very
love it.
cool. Thank you. We're going to need to raid the Officers Club first and lift some rations. Yes, we will.
Some.
Definitely.
Starring Dr.
All.
Lee. Yes.
The only way to watch this is going to be inebriated.
Oh, Mediocre Model says, why are you trying to ruin Christmas? Yes, trying to understand stars, Chris. Yeah, I don't know what the heck, but we're doing it anyway. So yeah, thanks, guys. Tara, let's keep at it, and we'll we'll just keep watching and see what comes out of this. But your recommendations have been spot on, so I'm gonna definitely look into that, and we'll see what happens. So thanks
Great,
for the
thank you
updates.
so much.
Yep.
Yeah, good guys. We'll be in touch. We'll see you soon.
Great.
Okay, and so guys, we're gonna be posting on our page, right? So we have our website, and
blog, yeah.
Tara puts up all of the updates. So we're gonna have that up with some of the pictures and the links, and so that'll be up soon enough. So if you guys wanna, and anybody wants to get in touch with Tiny Bean, info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. Send it up our way, and we'll definitely get that to Tara with any recommendations or any other comments on anything we've covered. Please send that up, and don't forget to smash that like button on
Yep.
our videos.
Like and follow.
Chris, that's right, and follow. So again, Tara, thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. We'll see
Yep.
you soon.
All right.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Amazing job as always, Tara.
Oh, 100%. Santa Adama, Paul Roeder says. Yes, that's right. He will bring
Yeah,
us
that's right. He has the
Galactica
beard.
1980.
He has the beard in Galactica 1980.
Yeah, it's beginning to look like G80 all over Earth, Paul says. Yes. And John McCartney, great job, Tara. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Tara. John, great idea. Let's look into this. I'm not opposed at all. I think it'd be kind of fun to do that, just that we're going to have to move ourselves over to our Zoom account, which we have done. We've done it before, but this will be more of a private get-together for all of our fans and followers, and we'll have a quick night of watching G80, and I haven't seen it. I only watched it once, right? So
we
full
can't do the whole
disclosure.
series. We'll have to just pick one.
We'll pick the beginning. We'll pick the
yeah.
first one. Yeah. I only saw the series once. I saw it once when it was live, and I've never watched it again. So it'd be kind of fun.
I had to recently rewatch it because I pulled trivia questions out of it. So
That's right. You did. Yes. And
sorry for the clacking. It's the dog. Lay down.
get the ambrosia. Yes, we will. everybody has pets, Chris. You don't need to make excuses for having a pet. It's not a problem.
My
Your family
Daggett.
too.
And Daggett's
That's right.
rule.
Daggett's rule.
Oh,
That's
speaking
right.
of Daggett, you see this? Just see this. Hang on.
What was interesting is
go.
that you posted something, and at one point the link wasn't working, and then it came back on. So there it is. Battlestar Galactica, Muffet, Eagle Moss,
Yep.
and it looks. Oh,
That's
see,
back
that's what
off
I
again.
got. It's back off. Maybe it's crashing. Hopefully
It's too
a
many
lot of
people
people
want it.
are buying it. Yeah, and that's great. If that's what's going on, that's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I see it. It brings back a lot of memories. I feel like I'm a kid again. So that's a lot. It's kind of fun. Hopefully, it is on sale though. So sometimes the Eagle Moss, sometimes it doesn't work. We would be able to do the first ever live lead toast. That would be amazing. Live fleet toast. Yes, live fleet toast. That would be fantastic. Mediocre modeler, you're right.
Yep.
I think that would be great. Only the return of Starbuck is canon. Yeah, that's true. Agreed. So I don't know. I think Chris.
I can't even like Return to Starbuck that much.
Oh,
Pardon me.
on.
Because of Psy. I can't stand his voice.
Yeah, I know. There's always that. But look, all said and done, I think it's a great idea. Let's look into this. Sean, let's try to make this happen. And we get together. We'll post a day. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
first annual Christmas party.
Battlestar Galactica party, viewing party.
Well, it'll be a Christmas party, and the theme this year is Galactica 1980.
Yes. So I think it would be a lot of fun, and yeah. All right. So let's look into this.
Yep.
So we'll keep that rolling. I think it's a good idea. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So all right, good. I'm all for it. So guys, we've been working behind the scenes, and obviously tonight we're going to do the Battle of Molukai, and we're going to do one of the last Realm comic books.
Yep.
And we have J.C. Vaughn, who will be our guest soon enough. I don't know if we're going to have any surprise guests yet, but there is a possibility. But definitely J.C. Vaughn is coming, who is an editor for Realm Press. And he's also a big Battlestar Galactica fan. And that's, two big pluses. So he'll be coming on the show. And we eventually, looks like we're probably going to end up doing the Maximum comic books. I think might be also,
Yep.
Where we may end up going. So I think that's where we're going to go as well. And if we're lucky, we may have somebody in the works for that.
Oh yeah.
And we're also, I'm just going to put this out that we might have someone that was affiliated with the Adama Journal. I'm working on that as we speak. No promises yet, no confirmations yet, but if we're lucky, we may have a very surprise guest that was directly affiliated with the Adama Journal, and that would be fantastic. So let's keep our fingers crossed, everyone. That would be one heck of an interview, because nobody's ever talked to anybody from that world in a long time. So that's interesting. We'll see how that plays out. Dang, now I have to get a pewter mug. Yes, you do. Or you can actually 3D print one, Mediocre Modeler, and
There you go.
put the eagle on it. And there you go, man. That's your next side project. Just I can't imagine how many hours or days it would take to actually 3D print one of these. But you might be able to get it printed with the eagle all in one shot.
All in one shot, yeah.
So here's to all the projects and all the fans that are watching live. Thanks for joining us, guys.
I'm almost out. That stuff is good.
It is good. John says me too. John 1 says me too. Absolutely, you too, buddy. All right, so you know what?
There it goes.
because it's empty. Don't break
Not
your
quite
finger.
yet.
Don't break your finger. All right, so Chris, let's jump on the comic book
Okay.
because
So-
we
The comic
Go ahead.
book or the fanzine?
let's do the comic book like we usually do, is the comic book, and then we go to the
right.
fanzine. Because guys, right, for those of you that have this available, right? I mean, this is what we're gonna do. Chapter 1 of the Battle of Molukai, and we're gonna talk about this. This is
We're not doing that right
one
now.
heck-
No, we're doing
No,
that
but
after.
this is coming up. This will be this will be right after the comic book. But this story, I've never read it. I started reading it just
Pete
this week because
Yeah,
you know
Pete
Chris-
calls me up after chapter 1 and was like, "This is amazing."
It is. It really is. It really is. And I've been trying to, we tried to see if we could get Lee Gall or Sharon Monroe for the longest time.
Oh my gosh.
We're not going to give up. We're going to keep trying. The creativity and the imagination that went into the Battle of Molokai. So a lot of fans, that are into fanzines or have taken that extra step. They're familiar with this story. It's from 1983, and it's all about the Pegasus and Commander Kane. And of course,
Right.
when you talk about the Pegasus, you're going to talk about Sheba. This is just
You're
phenomenal.
You're leading into that. Let's get back to the comic.
Oh yeah, it's incredible, man. It really is, isn't it? It's really
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh, it's good.
So
We'll
Yeah.
talk more about a little bit of history on that and everything else too. All right,
cool.
so
Yeah, we will.
tonight it is. I do not have an overhead shot here in the Raider, so we'll be doing kind of a lot of this kind of thing. So let me go full screen. That'll help out. All right, so tonight we're covering the 1999 Battlestar Galactica tour book. And
Yes.
the screen.
And
Go ahead.
written by James Kahoric, illustrated by Chris Scalf, lettered by Mark Haynes, and then there was also some very interesting interviews in the back of it. But that's who put that together. But right when you open it up, right from the beginning, it is incredible, just incredible.
I'm blown away just by this part. There's a rifle.
Yes.
We
That's
never
right.
see a rifle.
So this reminds me of Mission Galactica, the VHS box and the poster, the promo that they did
Yep.
for Mission Galactica when they put it out as a movie. That's what that cover looks like to me.
Yeah, and this comic is once again, it is illustrated by Chris. So this is all the paintings again, and
Yeah.
love the way it starts out. It's like previously on
On
Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
And it goes through a little bit of what happened. So there's the peace conference. I love that part of it. That's kind of cool. And it's got the yellow notes. They're actually notepads or note things,
Like Post-its.
Post-its. And if you look at somebody has one that has Chris's painting, and the Post-its are posted to the painting, and they're actually, you could peel them off if you wanted to. So it's pretty cool. So a lot of this goes in the beginning, is a rehash of some of the other ones that we've seen previously. So there's they refer back to a lot of different things in the past. So we have the Gnomon, and we have
Borrelians,
Pegasus.
yeah. Yeah,
and
the
we
Borrelians, man.
have one of my favorite characters.
Ooh, Cal Nibley, man, that's cool. Look at that.
And then there's so it goes through kind of a review of some of the other comics before
boy.
it
Look at
starts
that.
off. It's a really good camera. I love it.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. Look at the Imperious leader doesn't have like that helmet thing that he wears, like the backdrop of his.
He looks more like the ride at
yes,
Universal Studios.
Right. Yeah.
So this all becomes the beginning. They're kind of just doing some rehashing of everything, and then they start the story. The story in this tour book is called Dark Genesis.
Dark Genesis, man. Awesome.
All right, written by James
Kohoric.
Illustrated by Robert Scott. So this isn't a Chris. Lettered by Tanya
Mark
Scalf
Haynes
and Mark
and
Haynes.
Tanya Scalf.
So these are not, I still think they are, but they're not Chris's, and you can tell they're not the paintings. But in the beginning, it's really cool. They've got some really beautiful artwork here in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
So it's just a battle, starts out in the beginning. And and they're flashing back a little bit. So first of all, Dark Genesis. What do you think Dark Genesis could be about? So we all know what dark is, and we know Genesis is like a beginning. So this is the beginning of the darkness, and the darkness in this case is the beginning of the Cylons. So this is got the backstory to the Cylons in it. So a couple of cool things they threw in here. They got Baltar, where they kill him and they drag him off.
John 1 says, look at the engines.
Yeah, the engines.
Yeah, the engines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's no joke. Very cool.
So this is kind of the beginning, beneath the throne. Now, this confused me a little bit because this picture looked very familiar, and I was like, I think we did this one already. But one of the pictures they reused was this one right here. It says Beneath the Throne. If they only knew what's beneath the throne. And that was one of the reused ones. I know I've seen that. So this flashes back to, I love this. I could read this all day. So this is the Cylon piece. This is, I still fail to comprehend these meddlesome creatures continue to interlude my forces. A secret so incredible that only one living individual knows its truth. My Centurions are the most efficient killers in the galaxy.
Oh, God.
And have been for 1,000 yarns.
Oh, boy.
Right? A secret that has been kept since birth. The Cylon death machines. Many millennia ago. A secret that began with the Sobekta, the bloodthirsty dictator of the reptilian race. Perhaps I should reconsider the ancient ways in my plan to obliterate the genetic cretins. Oh, what a great word for this, for those colonial cretins. Perhaps I should reconsider the ways of Sobekta. They were a race of conquerors with an entire solar system of servants that were loyal to Tsar Sobekta. Sobekta ruled with a campaign of terror and power. None could stand against his might. The Cylons he ruled over were a race of intelligent reptilian bipeds. There we go. They had a great capacity for creation and had a future wrought with potential. Sobekta's greatest capacity, however, was the capacity for destruction. And then we go in, so that's all of this kind of the beginning piece of it. I love it.
John says, John McCartney says, yet they had trouble walking down steps.
Because steps were a human design. It was inefficient.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep,
Oh,
inefficient.
that's a good one.
Yep.
All right, cool. That's all we had to do is make a lot of steps, and they would never be able to conquer the humans, the colonies. Excellent.
See, you guys didn't even use steps in the Galactica. You always used elevators. Right?
No, there's ladders, but they can climb ladders. But yeah,
we got ladders on the base star. So ladders on the base star, no problem.
Sean says, Tipsy
plus a ladder
Toaster,
to get
the
inside
audiobook.
the Raiders, if you remember correctly, too. They climbed up inside the Raiders.
You heard that? Sean saying, Tipsy Toaster, the audiobook.
But
just Cylon ladders. That's right, Paul.
So they go through, and so this is the Sebekta. It's kind of a flashback in history. This is where they're at now. So I love the Cylon on the right-hand side of the page there. That's a Reptilian Cylon. And this is documenting the story of the creation of the robotic Cylons. So,
right.
So they're like, these humans being a pain, we're going to create these robots and send them out. And here is the very first Cylon. I believe it says, "My liege, we believe that the process was completely successful. Our first Cylon Centurion is ready for your bidding." It says, "Excellent. I want to process automated and full production of these warriors in place by the next cycle." And then, of course, the answer is, "By your command."
Nice.
So this is the very first one. And then I love this. So in the cycles that followed, an unstoppable force of Cylon Centurion warriors was created. All that opposed them was crushed beneath the unyielding, merciless onslaught. Soon, they were even more deadly machines were created to assist the Centurions on their campaign of terror. The deadly Raider attack craft, manned by 3 Cylon warriors, leveled countless cities and civilizations. Soon, the gargantuan, I love these adverbs, base ships were created, and no planet was safe from the power of Sebekta. So we have kind of the process of it going to lots of Cylons, and then the destruction of many worlds, and then new Cylons.
There they are.
And then the Raiders.
Damn Cylons.
And finally, the base stars. The gargantuan base stars. I love these adjectives, sorry. So he gets, he's getting really big, and he's, the time is now, he acts, so he has a problem. There are lizard Cylons that don't agree with him. They want to go against Sebekta. So they create a little group, and then they go after Sebekta.
So John Repper says, an assembly line of Cylons that would put the Ford assembly line to shame. Yeah, it sure looks that way, man. Because they don't have a union, so and so that's that.
No union.
And John 1 says, Cylon Love Tour.
This one's great. One of my favorite comics so far. So the question, so that he overthrows this rebellion, and he's like, I need to be immortal. So the question is whether you kneel to the masses that flood your gates or embrace my immortality. And so it began. So he makes himself immortal.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So he becomes the Imperious Leader.
Leader. Dun dun dun.
That's
Cool.
a good shot.
Yeah, right there.
And
There you go. That's better.
the robotic Imperious Leader says, I love it. What have you done to me? I'm not as you. I'm a monster. Let's test your value. Let's test your immortality. As if I am powerful as you say I am, I don't require your presence any longer. So he offs the original Imperious Leader.
Damn.
And
So much for that guy.
this is how it all started.
See ya. At the end of that,
that's the end of the story.
book, Chris.
What?
Yeah, and at the end, at the last few pages are like interviews.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
they have a whole
these
bunch
are great.
of cool stuff.
Yeah, these
so
are.
So if anybody has, if you haven't read it, guys, it's really cool,
yeah.
and it's got some good background.
Got a cast and crew update.
Yep, there's pictures of all the creators. From Chris Scalf to actually J.C. Vaughn is in there. Very cool. So if you don't have that one, and you can get it, it's definitely worth it. This series, the Realm Press series, so far we've really enjoyed it. I'm glad we got a chance to go back and look at it and review it. Chris, are you lost in Cylon thought?
I was looking at Rob Holcomb.
Yeah.
Director listing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And looking at his filmography. China Beach.
Oh. Remember that?
A couple of the others. That was kind of interesting.
It's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good bunch of guys that put this out. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And to the best of my knowledge, all of these guys were fans. I know that.
I need to get a hold of Chris Scalf. I want that picture.
Oh yeah. Imagine that.
Oh wow.
Well, he is selling some of his art, so
yep.
I bet you if we reach out to him, there's a good chance you might be able to get it if he still has it.
There's Jay Lee. We just got his autograph.
Yeah. We did. Yeah, we did.
So it talks about.
We showed it last time. Didn't we show that off last time?
Yep.
I have it right here. As a matter of fact, here it is. This is the one that I got autographed thanks to Chris. Right. So there it is. Boom.
And here's J.C. Vaughn. We'll be interviewing him.
Yeah, wearing the baseball cap. So we're going to talk to him, and we're going to, get ready for it, guys. So, Cylon Skynet, that's right, Mediocre Model. Yeah, so, get your questions ready, because we're going to get a chance to have him on, man. I'm definitely looking forward to, talking about all of the Galactica Realm Press and all his work and stuff. Just really, really stoked. But, Chris, that brings us right to where we want to be, and that's
right.
this, the Battle of
I need
Molukai.
to make we can't do book versus episode anymore. So
no.
I guess we have
you gotta make
else.
A new one. Yeah.
Fanzine Follies. I don't know.
No, Follies. Something fanzines, yeah. So we'll
Fantastic
definitely do that.
fanzines.
You're stuck on 2 Fs, aren't you?
Yes. It sells.
Yes.
Come
on. Okay. So yeah, we're that's what we're doing.
Fanzines?
But you know what? There was one thing I wanted to bring up. We were lucky enough to get some really good interviews at Fan Expo, and you have a whole bunch of things that you're cranking out little by little.
Yep.
And I think the last one you put out was an author, one of our author interviews. But we also met up with a group. It was a Star Trek group.
Yes.
It's the 17th Brigade Starfleet International, and they are Region 17. And I got this this challenge coin.
Hang on.
Yeah, there you go.
Momento.
So, yeah, it's really cool. One of the few things that we actually brought back from the convention. So we were very, very picky because we couldn't bring a lot with us on our flights. We got real cheap flights, so we just did not get a lot of stuff. But we met up with the Star Trek group, and we're going to have a really cool interview for you guys with the head of that Star Trek group. They're cosplayers. They're sort of like the 501 for the Star Trek world, and they had a real cool setup. And so we'll be bringing that to you and other interviews from Fan Expo at Denver. So, stay tuned and watch out for those. John Repper says the year this comic came out in 1999 was a good year. Dirk Benedict did his first sci-fi con, and the Second Coming trailer was being shown at cons. Yes, 1999. You're absolutely right. Not to mention that by towards the end of 99, that DeSanto's Galactica movie was definitely, I would say, probably past the pre-production or maybe in a pre-production stage. So they were probably finalizing that because I'm sure that they'd worked out some of the kinks so that by 2000 they were going to start putting it together, and then sometime in 2001 they went into production, right? So they were building sets, and that usually takes a while. So I'm sure that somewhere in that 1999 they were also working that out. Yeah, Paul Roeder says a good yarn. It sure was. And then Y2K, guys. Let's not forget about that, right?
Yeah.
1999, the Y2K. Everybody thought the world was going to
come to an end. The stoplights are going to stop working.
Yeah, I remember that clearly. So yeah, all right, guys. I think, Chris, if we're ready, let's just jump right into the Battle of Molukai, right? And I'm lucky enough that I have an original copy. And yeah, this thing is fantastic, guys.
I see the play on words.
Telling you before.
Fantastic. Fanzine. Say That's what we call it. Fantastic fanzines.
There you go. And this
tonight
is
on Fantastic Fanzines, we're going to be talking about.
It's 99 pages, but it includes artwork, right? So this thing has.
But when you say pages, we're talking. What is that? Tintype? That's got to be.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's not even 12.
It's really
small.
But it's got some really cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's in PDF. If you guys search enough, you'll find it in there's PDFs of it.
So tonight, our very first opening, Paul will like this. Actually, it looks like Paul. It does look like Paul. Hey, Paul. Somebody
It does.
Drew a picture
Insert
of you.
Kane music. Yes.
Here you go, Paul.
Yep. That's it.
Does look like a lot like Paul.
I sure does. As far as I'm concerned, that's you, Paul, right there. Bam, Commander Kane. So, like I mentioned earlier, guys, the Battle of Molukai in certain circles is extremely well known. It's written about and was written about on a lot of the older websites, Battlestar Galactica websites, and it's a Sharon Monroe Lee Gold. They both wrote a lot of stuff, but I have to say that this is probably one of the most famous of those fanzine stories or novels that they wrote, and it's great. So I never read it before. I knew of it, and Chris pushed me into it, and I was able to get a copy, and so I did. I read it, and I was blown away. So like Chris had mentioned, I called him up right away after I read that first chapter because it was incredible, man. So obviously, right, Battle of Molukai has everything to do with the Pegasus, but it's before the peace negotiations or the peace treaty that was set up with the Cylons. So this is before the movie, right? This is way before the movie. This is the backstory to the Pegasus,
Right.
and what happened to it, why it disappears.
I just want to bring up. So, do you remember during our interview with Eric Larson, how he said that his dad he loved to go to Hawaii.
Yes.
He was always.
Yep.
You know how close. So Molukai was listed in the original book, the Battlestar Galactica book. The battle it was Molukai, and he said, "Hey, they've disappeared." So they mentioned that, but Molukai, spelled just a little bit differently, Molokai. So Molukai is an island in Hawaii.
Nice.
So I wonder if that had some influence on
Probably
him.
did.
Yeah, so
Probably
because
did.
he's always said he loved to go to Hawaii. He used any excuse to get to go to Hawaii. So,
Oh yeah. And this is kind of where this stuff probably came from. It's just fascinating to see how, an imagination can come up with a story like this. Obviously, it's Lee Gold and Sharon Monroe, right? They're the ones that wrote this, but they capture the characters extremely well and create a backstory for them and their motivations. And I was just reading it and I was like buying into the whole thing, and it somehow made sense.
Oh yeah.
So they studied the characters that we know from the show, and then used that and they were able to translate that into this. And that's just chapter 1, guys. So if you haven't read it, highly recommend. Like I said, I just started reading it now. I never read it before. Chris had read it years ago, and so we're introduced to Commander Kane right up front, Cassiopeia, Sheba, and a little bit of some of the rest of the crew
Baltar.
that Sheba flies with, and some of the key people that interact with Commander Kane
Charybdis.
directly as well.
Charybdis and Baltar.
Baltar.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
So
all there.
all right, let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
This is copyrighted by Osiris.
Well,
Sorry,
Yeah,
Osiris
I'm not. See,
Publications,
that's
1983.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how valid that is, because you
I don't
can't
either.
copyright, intellectual property rights on somebody else's characters, is not viable. You cannot copyright that. It just doesn't work that way. But it sounds good. But
Yeah.
you can't do that. That's illegal. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that they tried to make this as legit as they could for the time in 1983, and obviously, I wonder how long it took them to write it, but it's really, really good. Paul Roeder says Bojay. From what I understand, Paul, Bojay does appear in this,
Yes.
and we'll find out what the backstory is to Bojay.
Yep.
Chapter 1 doesn't mention him yet, but it's
He's in
good.
chapter 2.
So, oh, it is. There you go. So
Yep.
the next chapter, next show, we'll find out about Bojay.
Yeah.
Chris?
How he got on? No, is it Greenbean?
No, it's Bojay.
Yeah.
Bojay. Bojay transferred from the Galactica to the Pegasus.
Yep.
And
That
then
happens in the
comes
next
back.
chapter.
He transfers back when they meet up.
Yeah. Well, they all
Or does
they all
he?
transfer back because the Pegasus was destroyed.
We don't know that for fact. But anyway, we do not know that.
Talk to
That's
my
not a fact.
Cylon counterparts. And,
Yes, it's not known. There's a gap in your intelligence and knowledge, because it's not confirmed that the Pegasus was destroyed. As a matter of fact,
You're right. It wasn't
everybody says that they
destroyed.
weren't.
We took it over. We
No,
now
you did not do
own
none
it.
of that. Yeah, I don't know nothing.
There's a fanzine piece for you. A little story. How the
Oh God,
Cylon's
you're
taken
delusional,
over.
man. You're delusional, man. You drink that beer too quick. The Pegasus survived. Yes, Paul, I agree. Pegasus was missing. Correct, John. So there was no debris field. It was not destroyed. Boom.
whatever.
What?
You colonials, hang on to that hope.
Yeah. Putting up my notes here.
All right, so it starts out. Go ahead.
This is another little piece of information. I should have mentioned it when you were talking about Molukai. The planet, right? So Molukai is a planet,
Right.
and it's at the crossroads between the Colonial Alliance and the Delphian Empire. Right? So that's what Molukai was. And when they say the Battle of Molukai, what's Molukai? Molukai is a planet, and it's made up of there's no native people on it, so it's made up of various races that live on Molukai, and they have some kind of friction with the Delphian Empire. So that's what that is, right? So now you understand, because without that, you're just like, what the? Okay, so the Battle of Molukai, what does that mean? It means that there's a planet out there, and it's named Molukai, and that's the backdrop. So,
and away we go. So the first chapter starts out. So we get a little bit of Cain in his quarters. He's sleeping, and he's awoken by the sweet sounds of the wonderful, golden-haired, blue-eyed Cassiopeia.
yes.
So he wakes up really quickly. It gives you an idea of his background. He's a warrior. He jumps out of his bed, and he is already half dressed, and he has his pistol already. By the time he realizes it's a phone call or a video call from Cassiopeia. Luckily, it's only one way. He can see her. She can't see him, but she can
Correct.
hear him. So
Yes.
So it's a really great intro. It gives you a little bit of background on Cain in regards to his a warrior status, but it also gives you the backstory to the Cassiopeia thing, which is going to get real heated here shortly between, well, not that kind of heated, but him and you get the backstory and why Sheba doesn't like her.
It's going to get controversial.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mediocre Modeler said, Cylon destroying the Pegasus, you better rub your Cylon boot on that one.
That's the other way around. You better get yourself a colonial Buddha.
Keep dreaming,
They
buddy.
survived. They survived. They survived. No, they didn't. Anyways. So Cassiopeia has weaseled her way into the comm system. So they're not supposed to get any communications before they go on this big mission. They're talking about the mission. And she weasels her way in by convincing the corporal to let her into the system. So kind of threatening to get into the system.
Yeah.
So
and
it
so
makes
the,
Cain
so
real
he patches
mad.
Through.
Yeah.
He patches through the call.
Yep.
And it's holographic, right?
Yeah. Which leads me to believe, if you look at the audio that they mention here, that in the Living Legend, he's like, have you ever seen this lady here? The video, the recording of the hollow in his quarters that he's showing Apollo.
Yeah.
That's
like the
same audio that's inside this book.
Yes.
So, yeah, things like, I'll never forget you, you old war Daggett, which I believe is one of the things that's said in that hologram. Hurry back. And so he, cuts it from there. Do you have anything to add on that, Pete?
Well, what's interesting is that, what we saw in the Living Legend, in the story now, it's the corporal that put it through wasn't. Kane says he was annoyed that he was manipulated, and he would normally punish him, but because it was Cassiopeia, and he was smart enough to save the recording, and he put like a personal code on it, so only Commander Kane could access it afterwards.
Right.
So what we see in the living legend, like Chris was saying, is this recording, which is so cool, man. So that's what that is. It's the hollow that we see in the living legend is this call. So that was kind of cool. And so then it moves on from there, and that's when Sheba, right? So Kane. Oh, by the way, Kane reminisces, and he thinks a little bit about what he's doing, how he's doing, why Cassiopeia, that things we already know, that she was filling the void. Kane's wife had passed. They had one child, and it was Sheba, and Cassiopeia just managed to get there and just fill the gap at the right time, at the right moment. And he's not sure, right, Chris? He's not sure if he has feelings for her. Maybe he's in denial, but he's saying that she is something remarkable to him.
She filled a void after the death of his wife, and
yes,
it mentions in here he states that it wasn't she never forced her way in,
right.
So this was a mutual togetherness. Now, she is a solicitor, so we don't really get an idea in the book here how they met. I didn't read that anywhere. So I'm guessing, this is horrible to say, that Mr. Kane needed a little solicitation.
So the social lady came to him?
So maybe that's how they met. That's my impression.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It could be.
So.
Could be.
But she lives on Caprica, and that's so. Anyways, they go back to that, and then he kind of cuts it off. He gets militaristic and cuts it off, and then he's like, maybe I should call her back. And he's like, no, I better not, because I don't want to see her crying, because I'm going on this mission. I want the last
secret
thing
mission.
To see. Yeah, so.
Yep.
And then, of course, at the ending of that, there's a knock on the door, and in comes Sheba.
Yep. And Sheba is looking forward to having a breakfast with her dad. This is like the only cherished moments she has. It's mentioned that in this timeline, this story, that Sheba is an only child, that she should be able to, link up with her father, since they're both in the same career, and they're serving together, and their mom is gone, and so she should be able to talk to him about their loss, and he should be able to confide in her, for father-daughter thing. And instead, Sheba finds out that Cassiopeia was talking to her dad.
He tells her. She comes and says, what was that? So, and she just called to say goodbye. And
that was it, man. She was so mad. She was so mad that was the end of it. She just dropped off, and he dismissed her when she got a little.
Yeah, they're back and forth on this. It's about a page of the back and forth. So she gets a little out of hand, and there's all the gifts that's been given to her from him, all the expensive stuff. She's hung up on the solicitor thing, a solicitor thing. So she's very upset about that. And she feels that they're trying to replace her mom. and
Yes.
she's so much younger, and
Yeah.
it's
And he get
Yep.
she
He's
sees
looking
it,
for
right?
everything.
Doesn't
Yep.
Sheba see the image? And she's like
Yeah.
wearing like jewelry
Yeah.
that she says, "Oh, that should have been given to my mother."
Yep.
And that's not who is she. And Mediocre Modeler says, "I never really believed the Cain and Cass relationship. I couldn't get past the age difference."
Right.
Well, I mean, like he's like this hero. Like he's like a living legend. Everybody knows who he is. Even like so in this story, they set it up so that he is everybody kind of knows who he is. So he hasn't gone to the next level. He hasn't leveled up, but everybody knows who Cain is. So he's, he is like the guy. Like he is definitely a celebrity even before, the colonies are destroyed. Everybody knows about Cain. So he's definitely made a name for himself. He's a commander. He's like a swashbuckler. So I was like, I don't know. I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's just one of those, older pervy guys. But I don't know if he's,
Hugh
famous enough. He can, he just attract. He's
Hefner.
single, right? He's a widower,
Hugh
and
Hefner.
yeah, and she's a socialator. So I don't know. Just one of those things.
One of those things where you can use your imagination on that part of it.
We're not privy to that because we haven't reached that level, so
George Patton.
We'll never know. Yes, that's right, like George Patton. Exactly, that's right, Paul. Which is George Patton. That is exactly what they envisioned when they created Commander Keen. That was one of the characters they based it on.
Yep.
So she
and
was
all.
pissed. Yeah, she was pissed. She gets dismissed. She leaves.
Yeah,
right. So
she doesn't get
leaves.
dismissed. She gets admonished. It's like,
Yes, she does.
I mean, instead of Father Dob, he starts off, he's like, Sheba! And then, King's voice is sharp and everything else. And then she keeps going. Stab that knife in Dad a little more. And then he finally says, Lieutenant! And so that is when it broke.
That's right. That's when it stopped.
There was ice in the voice, and he said, that will be all. You're dismissed.
You dismissed.
No breakfast for
Yep.
you.
That's it. And but what's interesting that so they continue to think about it, and they tell us a little bit more about what Sheba was thinking, and it also bothered Cain, like in a very human way, right? So Cain kept thinking about like, well, he's gonna go get breakfast, and as he's going, he gets distracted, and Sheba is also distracted. So Sheba's like, oh no breakfast for me, it screwed it all up.
No breakfast for you.
And Cain was like, I'm going to the officer's mess and I'm going to go have some breakfast. And he gets distracted, but Sheba's also distracted.
Right.
But she goes to the launch bay,
Yeah, to
right?
see
She
her
makes her
Viper.
way to the launch bay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
her. Yeah, they mention that the Viper is her only home away from home, kind of deal.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
she doesn't get plush quarters on the Battlestar just because she is Kane's daughter. So
Right.
so she wanders down to there, and she runs into some new people, people we haven't heard before.
Correct.
But so I want to find. Is it in this spot? Prevent silent. Okay, so this is where the politics are kind of into this. So there's about a page talking about Molukai and the Cylons and how the humans want to pull that outer lying planet into their alliance. So there's a lot of secrets are back and forth, and Cain is secretly, thinking, I hope, that the Molukai people, I don't think they give them a name, did they? Anyways,
No,
I
they
think
did
the
not. I was
Molukai
looking
people
for it.
give up to the Delphians and, then join the humans. So we get the idea that these people are not human.
It's a mix. They're
yeah.
not. They're not all human. there is a part of them that are human. And by the way, Mediocre Modeler said that, well, maybe you guys haven't reached that level of, fame and fortune. So I said, well,
Working on it.
I told him one day over beers he can share the limelight that he has and tell us all about what that's like. So, Mediocre Modeler, we're gonna hold you to it, man. Being that famous is nothing but trouble. So we'll stay on the down low. We'll stay where we are. Thanks.
So
I think he's warning us.
don't let the fame go to your head.
Yeah, don't, man. Come on, just be you. Be you. Don't let it. Don't be ruined by it. Huh.
So she goes down to the Viper. Go ahead. Got something?
Yeah, she goes down to the Viper, and what I thought was interesting was, like you were saying, like, so there's this introduction to the crew, and like who her chief is, and
right.
So what this reminds me of,
Zumbro is her chief.
Yeah. Who has a crush on her.
And he's 15 years older,
but he's in love with her and will never tell her.
And won't never tell her.
No.
He will never tell her another way in a minute. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
And then Gaynard, Garner, Garnyard,
is another
Garnyd.
Garnier.
Lieutenant
Yeah.
Garnyd.
So get this.
That's
Chris,
her wingman.
This reminds me. It reminds me of the new Battlestar Galactica, the reimagined, where we get to meet, the flight crews, and we get to meet the friends of the Viper pilots, right? So there's enough time in that show, in that series, to give backstory. So we know who the chief is, and this remind me of that. I was like, oh wait, and this came first. So we get to know who her crew chief is, and we were introduced to her wingmate and the other guy, and there's a little bit of who they are, which is kind of cool. And then
they have a Starbuckish kind of guy who's got the girls coming down.
Yes,
they hear this noise. Hey,
but he's a pilot, man.
He's a pilot.
Some of these guys are.
He's got the girl pilots with him.
Yeah, of course. A whole bunch of them.
And the Zumbro, the guy who really secretly loves her, who is 15 years older, he can tell there's something wrong with her. And then I believe Garnyard starts to try to cheer her up.
Yes. And actually, John Repper says, well, Mediocre Model said the beers are on me. Okay, we're going to hold you to it. And John Repper says, Happy Days TV shows spawned 3 spin-offs. If Galactica had 3 spin-offs, we would have had a Commander Kane show, Starbucks Angels, and Sheba's Viper Pilot. Or Sheba, Viper Pilot. Yeah, I agree, totally. That would have been awesome. Very cool.
The Commander Kane show, Ghost, because they're dead.
Paul says, stop that. Paul says they would need swagger sticks for that level. Yes, that's right. Since most of us are in our 50s now, I really don't have a problem with this age issue at this point. John McCartney just being brutally honest. Oh, boy.
That's awesome.
We're getting... Yeah, we're going to get in trouble here, but that's beside the point. All right, don't lose yourself, Chris.
Yeah, so...
Anyway... So there's a twist coming up. There's
Ready?
A real big twist here.
Go ahead.
And what's going to happen is, right, so Sheba comes down, we get introduced to the chief. The chief has, this in his head, he's in love with Sheba, but he'll never tell her. And, he's always looking out for her and making sure that, he knows her. And it's... I don't know. It's not creepy, right? It's just written the way it is. He's an older guy that cares for her, but he's really in love with her, and he says he'd never tell her, right?
I wonder.
And
I wonder if they wrote that in to counteract the Kane Cassiopeia thing.
I don't know, but that's great. It's a great way of doing it.
Yep. So Kane and Cassiopeia are so.
Right.
Age difference.
So why not? Yeah.
why we flip it and say there's somebody
Right.
who's got a crush on Sheba, who is
on Sheba.
got so many years
Yeah.
on her.
And so her wingman is also somebody that knows her, like her other wingmates, and one of the I think it's her wingmate is also part of military intelligence. So this is like
Yeah.
one of the first time, if
And Kane-
ever, that they introduce into the world of Galactica, except in the reimagined,
Right.
that there are there's got to
Well,
be, right. I mean,
This
you
was
can't
before the
operate-
reimagine.
Yeah.
So
And so
We
there
thought of
is
it first.
obviously- yes, we did. Obviously, there's like an intelligence, apparatus, and they, Kane knows. He meant, Kane
Yeah.
character mentioned something about
yeah, he
them.
mentioned in the hallway.
there.
He says he doesn't like them. He doesn't like
Yeah.
that they get all this glory and
Yeah,
media
yeah.
coverage.
Yes.
So he's bad mouthing this kid without knowing it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's kind of a hi. Oh, sorry.
So there's uh-oh. Is that the alien cat? That's
Yeah,
not the
no,
alien
no,
cat.
no. This is Troy. He was clawing
Oh,
my
boy.
back.
Troy. Troy.
Don't
You named your cat
don't,
after a
don't,
Galactica
don't,
1980 character?
Don't. Ah!
What did you do? Oh my God. The cat likes Cylons. That's weird.
Yeah,
Very strange. But anyway, so going back to the story, now that we were rudely interrupted by
Troy.
Chris's Cylon cat, is that there's this intelligence character, and there is something up with Sheba's Viper. And
no, it wasn't
one of the-
Sheba's
the-
Viper.
the- oh, it was this guy's, right? The intelligence guy's
intelligence
Viper,
guy's.
right? I thought it was Sheba's.
No.
It wasn't. It was the other guy's. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And it has to do, this all links to the fact that Boltar is actually being watched. So Boltar, they say, right, that he's doing a lot of traveling and stuff, and
Well,
that
yeah,
he's all about
he's upper echelon.
echelon.
so-
Yeah, he's part of the elite,
Yeah.
and Charybdis is his pilot, like we know. And so this intel guy may or may not know too much, and they gotta
They're
do
getting
something
rid
about
of
it.
him.
Yeah. So
They're- they complain that they have a problem with this individual.
yeah,
Because he's been giving intelligence back to Baltar, but I guess maybe
Right.
they're running into some problems with him. They don't really get into that depth, but we come up with a problem. So
and that problem is explosive.
yeah. So one of the happy-go-lucky Viper pilot says, "Hey, he's looking over. Hey, what's Garnered?" He says, "Zumbro wants to know what this thing is. You wired it to your Tylium feed, C circuit, power increase or something, So Zumbro, which is the kid, the Starbuckish figure, has picked something off of the Viper and waving it at Zumbro. This is when, hey, what is this thing? Is this going to increase speed? What are you, cheating? And kaboom.
Yep. And so on the landing bay, there's this massive explosion, and one of the characters actually jumps in front of the blast when he realizes what it is and
Yep.
shields
And Shield.
Sheba.
That's Zumbro, the 15-year-old,
15-year
year
older
older
guy.
shields
Yeah, the
her,
crew chief.
tackles her
getting
to
killed.
the floor,
Yeah.
and
And saves her life
yep.
with his own. And John Repper wants to know, I wonder if Troy the cat can figure out how to get out of a revolving door unlike his TV human counterpart.
We don't let him
Possible.
out, so
It's maybe. So yeah, he may not know either. So Sheba obviously is saved. The explosion goes off. So Kane obviously does not get his breakfast. He has to run down to find out what's going on. And this is when
what he's doing at that point is he's talking. Before this happens, so they have the explosion, and they do a twist. So it's back in time before the explosion, and Kane is seeing Baltar off. Hey, thanks for showing up. Thanks for giving money to the fleet. Your
doesn't like him.
Your philanthropy is awesome.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, he's trying to, get lost.
Just get out of
here.
Go
away.
Yeah, goodbye.
And then so they get on board their shuttle, and there's a description of the shuttle, which is nice, and it's got a special coat of arms or something on it.
Yeah, it's Baltar's. Baltar's strange.
Baltar's count.
Yeah. Yes.
And as soon as the door closes, he turns to Charybdis, and Charybdis being the evil flunky that he is.
Yep.
So did you do it? And Charybdis is like, yep. That thing will go off in the Viper when he launches the Viper.
Yep.
But needless to say,
guess what?
Somebody found it and shook it, and it blew it up.
And it blew up. So their alibi is that they're with, they're being, sent off.
Yeah. And he's
so
like,
that's how.
But he does say that Baltar says something is that they're never going to see Kane again, anyways. What?
Dun dun dun.
How does Baltar know this? Well,
exactly.
From what we read into the end of this chapter, there is more than one explosive device on board.
Ha ha ha. So that's more or less, guys, where so Kane, then of course is told about the explosion. He gets.
I'm gonna do the same thing I was gonna do. Hey, let's do Pete. All right, Pete, hang on. Pete Cam. There we go.
So, Commander Kane then, Baltar leaves with Charybdis, and Kane is told that there's an explosion. He runs down, and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And that plays out, and there's casualties, and they try to get these guys to their med bay, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's just what the hell?" But it's not pandemonium. Right, the way they wrote it, it's not pandemonium. It's just the explosion happens, people are killed, and they gotta see what they're gonna do now. Obviously, there's gonna be an investigation. So Kane has this major of his, who's the security chief on board the Pegasus. He's gonna take over, and he has to investigate what exactly happened. So there's a lot of moving parts, and they're well put together. We're not doing it justice, guys. We really are not. It is a really, really good story, written very well, especially for a first chapter. I am intrigued. I'm fascinated on how well they captured, the characters that we know so well and put them into this storyline. And now it's just playing out in front of us. And so, obviously, there's going to be an investigation. Sheba's okay. They have like a moment. And so now they're going to try to see, what else is happening. However, the mission is going to go forward, right? So Kane doesn't want this explosion, which they don't know if it's accidental or not at this point. They're not putting off the mission. So Kane is set on heading out no matter what. So that's important. And that in a nutshell is chapter 1. And if you guys haven't read it, it's a good quick read. Once you get into it, you'll see it. It kind of flows. Highly recommend. And we're gonna keep going with this. And Chris is, I think, looking at some of the actual final paragraphs or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Got? So what I wanted to tell you was that there is a statement here that says that the Pegasus is supposed to head for Molukai with her sister ship.
That's what I was looking for.
The Olympus and the Britannica.
Yep.
So
So
that's very interesting.
very interesting because how many battle stars were there? Olympus
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Britannica are listed as battle stars, but were destroyed during the Battle of Molukai.
Right.
So, and we find out more about that later on. I won't tease
That's
too much.
great.
Anyways,
So-
yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. I was looking for those in there. That's what I was looking for. I couldn't remember. But yeah, Olympus and what's the other one?
Britannica.
Britannica. Yeah,
Yeah.
sister ships. So
Sister ships. So that's kind of the setup for where the story's going to go. Obviously, he's going to leave. The fleet goes out there, and something else happens there. There's characters that are going to be introduced. I haven't read the next chapter. I highly recommend it, guys. It's a good Galactica story. It's well written. Chris, really has rants and raves about it, and so here we are with it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I know that I am. But it can only be better by reading it yourselves. And if you do, then I think that we can try to start up a whole other level of interaction. And we'd love to have you along for the ride. Search for it. There's PDF versions of it. Unfortunately, the PDFs don't have the pictures, but that's okay. In the meantime, I think, let's see, John Repper says, interesting backstory of how Baltar knew Kane before the living legend. Yeah, exactly. I would love to have these guys, Lee Gall and Sharon Monroe, pick their brain and find out, how did they write this out? How did they create, this story? What was the germ for it? How did they, plot this out? How do you get this? Where do you get this? And by the way, it's 4, right? There's 4 novels to this. Chris has told me that the second one may or may not be as tight as the first. But the first one is definitely a classic, and I'm glad you guys are joining us. And stay tuned for more. Next week, we have a guest. And Chris, do you have any other last tidbits for Chapter 1 of Battle of Molukai?
Nope, but I will show you the. Hang on.
Reading is fundamental. Yes, it is, John. Oh, yeah, there you go.
So this is fan lore.
Fan lore. Yeah.
And then there's your Battle of Molukai, the Pegasus Chronicles, and there's a couple other ones that to go with this.
Yeah, from what I understand, there's 4, correct, Chris? There's 4 parts to this, or 4 4 novels, quote. Yeah. So the Pegasus Chronicles. So Battle of Molukai and the Pegasus Chronicles, I guess, is number 2, and then it goes on. There's 4 of these. Don't know how it ends, but free Battlestar Galactica fan fiction novels. Highly recommend.
Battle
And
Molukai,
so-
Kane's Command, Second Coming, and Joint Maneuvers.
There you go. So we'll see how far we get into the other ones, but we're definitely going to go all out on this one. And as usual, Chris, I know you flashed really quick, but the guy that saves Shiba will look kind of Ricardo Montalban. Okay, let's see. Mediocre Modeler wants to see who this guy is. Let's see.
Yeah, hang on. And just
Let's see.
so everybody knows, free Galactica fan fiction novels .weebly.com. Hang on, Pete. There we go. Hang on. Yeah, he does. Ricardo Montalban.
There you go. Con. That was
But,
from Mediocre Modeler.
So if you want to pick it up, here is the website.
Yeah, definitely good read, guys. And then you can join us along, and we can pick it apart a little bit. It's a lot of fun. It's something new that we don't know about. It's a fan fan fiction, but very, very well written. Like I told you, I haven't read it. I didn't go to chapter 2 yet, but next week we'll do chapter 2 for the next show. And for those of you that want to read it, it's free. It's out there, and it's a very well known, fan fiction backstory to Commander Kane and what happened at the Battle of Molukai, which takes place obviously before our beloved show and series. So Baz, veteran Baz clocking in. Yes, Baz, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining. Here in the States, it's Veterans Day, and we did a toast to all the vets, including Chris and myself and everybody else that's a part of IFB and everywhere else. So around the world, we our compliments to everyone that is served, and thanks for joining us from Australia, of course, and. So we're actually doing this, the Battle of Molukai, everybody. We're wrapping this up. But if any of you want to read this is the Pegasus background story, or that's a fan fiction, of course, but it's very, very good. And we're having a good time with it. That's chapter 1. So we talked about Kane and Sheba. Baltar's involved. Charybdis is involved. There's a conspiracy of sorts. And there is the fleet. I think it's the 5th fleet, right, Chris? That's going to be leaving the colonies to go to Molukai, and things are going to happen there as well.
I just pasted a link to the free Galactica fan fiction in the chat.
Oh, Baz says 16 years serving. Outstanding, my friend. Outstanding. Hat tip to all our vets that are watching and are a part of this, both at the colonies and here on Earth. Today on Veterans Day in the United States. So best wishes to all of us that served. And all right, cool. There's the link. So Chris, I think we've done. We haven't done it justice, but we're going to get our rhythm, and we're going to
I think it was really good.
Figure it out because It's really fun. It really is, guys. So we're gonna have a guest. We'll post it up once I make sure that we get the reconfirmation. We'll have that up, and we're getting close to some other holidays. It's gonna be Thanksgiving, and then of course we have Christmas and New Year's. So we're planning around that. Chris, Thanksgiving. I think what we might do is. Thanksgiving's on Thursday, but I believe we're going to go live possibly on Wednesday, or we're going to actually record on Wednesday to broadcast on Thursday. So in case anybody has food coma and you want to watch us for whatever reason, you can watch us on Thursday. But so we may or may not. We'll figure that out, but we're definitely not going to be live on Thanksgiving, obviously because of, family responsibilities. But that's okay. We will cover the day. And then, we have Christmas coming up, and, we'll see where things take us, wrap up another great year. So until then, Chris, you need to get your booster shot so that you can feel better, because you're just fading away, my friend. Get your Cylon third brain so you can just re-energize. They don't know the meaning of the word run. And Bojay's coming, Paul. Bojay's coming. Baz says, still waiting on Dune here in Australia. Oh, and Christmas. Can't forget about Christmas. Yes, Dune, my friend, is worth watching. I saw it. Blown away. Very, very good. Highly recommend. Worth the wait. When you see it, I think you'll like it very much.
I got the audiobook. So, I just started the audiobook. I'm about 2 hours into
the book,
it.
But the movie is very good. It's very, very good. So, I don't know. I guess, Chris, we can just I think we're about at that point to wrap.
At that time.
And right, so to all the vets, right, all the best, and thank you for serving. And we shall toast to all of our fans,
to the fans,
live,
to the vets,
live and in syndication.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to have to take a drink first. So here's to you, fans fuel the fleet.
Fans fuel the fleet, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can catch us online. We're at YouTube. Don't forget to smash those like buttons and info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. And looking forward to the next show. Chris, great show, man. Thanks, everybody. Stay
care.
safe.